Hey everybody, how you doing? Hey, are you doing production for your temple, for your community? Are you helping them out? Well, I have some tips from the front lines just for you. Hey everybody, David Paskin here, your Torah tech guy, and I'm here with my daughter who is spamming my broadcast. Check this out. Yes, that's Dahlia, my daughter. Oh my Lord. In any case, hi everybody. Rabbi David here, Torah tech guy. I'm here to share with you some great tech for your great Torah. So I've had the opportunity over the past number of months to do some remote production or some video production for different communities, for synagogues, for non-Jewish organizations. And I decided today that I'd like to share with you some of the tips and lessons from the front lines. What did I learn? What might be important if you're going to be offering production services to your community, whether that means in Zoom or if you're streaming or even if you're using something like Ecamm or OBS or vMix or any of these sort of broadcast production pieces of software. What are some of the things that you might need to keep in mind as you're doing this work? My daughter says she's a milestone follower. I have no idea what that means. What is a milestone follower, Dahlia? I have no idea what that means. In any case, moving on. So I want to walk you through about 5 or 6 different lessons that I've learned and see if they're helpful for you. So the first one is have a detailed run of show. I can't begin to tell you how important it is to really have a clear picture of what you're doing, when you're doing it, where you're going, what the sort of transitions are from one part of the program to the next part of the program. And it's so important to have that all written down, laid out so that everybody is working off of the same script. So make sure that if you do have a run of show and you're going through multiple versions of it, that everyone's on the latest version. So what some people do is they'll actually color code the paper that they use. So version 1 is on yellow paper, version 2 is on pink paper, so on and so forth. My daughter says I'm frozen, but I don't think I am. So I'm going to ignore her. You are frozen, it says. I think just for you maybe, in any case. See, it's very hard when your children are watching you. It's very distracting. So have a detailed run of show. Know what you're doing, where you're going, and when you need to get there. Second tip for you is create a system for easily receiving and managing media assets. So on a recent job that I was doing, I was getting lots and lots of emails. Lots and lots of emails with different graphics, with video assets, different things that they wanted to include in the show that they were doing, in the production that they were doing. And this could be true for a service also, if you have maybe a yahrzeit video or something like that. Make sure that you have a system for receiving and organizing all that information, because what I found very quickly is that I had a very hard time keeping track of what was being sent my way. So what I ended up doing is just using Google Drive. I created a Google Drive just for this production, and then I created subfolders in there. I made one for videos, I made one for graphics, I forget what the third one was for, maybe lower thirds. And then I shared that folder with whoever was going to be, or maybe it's more than one person sharing graphics with me. That way I have everything is in there, it's all organized, I know where to find it, easy peasy. Third tip, create your own graphics or give very specific instructions. One of the things I found is that I very much want to encourage people to use their own creativity. I don't want to do everything for everyone. I want to encourage them to be creative and to use their own style. The problem is that depending on what programs you're using, the size of the graphic, the format of the graphic, the colors, all those things can really matter. And for me, now I'm a type A personality, obsessive compulsive, so I will freely acknowledge this, that I would much rather just do everything myself. Just tell me what you want, send me your color palette, and I'll just do it for you. Because then I know that everything will be created in the way that I need to use it. But shy of that, give very specific instructions on here's the formats that I need, here are the different sizes that I need for the different assets that you may be using in your production. All right, next tip. Give advice, but ultimately provide what they want. Your job, if you're doing production, if you're doing technical assistance, and maybe it's during a service or for a class or for a synagogue special event, your job is to help the community create what they want to create, not what you want to create. I should just say me, not what I want to create, because that's what I often want to do, is create what I want to create. But that isn't my job when I'm doing technical assistance or production assistance. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up on what you know will be successful. So give advice, but ultimately your job is to provide what your community that you're working with wants. But there's a little bit of an exception to that rule. And the exception is insist on the basics from the get-go and explain why they're important. And you'll get pushback on this. You will definitely get pushback on this. But I have to tell you, it is so important to have everyone who's participating, if you're a presenter, if you're talent, the rabbi, the cantor, the teacher, whoever it is, I can't begin to tell you how important it is that all of your participants be plugged into Ethernet and be using earbuds. It just makes the world of difference. So insist on the basics and tell people why they're so important. And one of the things I actually heard recently is if you're on a call with with the folks that you're going to be working with ahead of time, do a test with them, right? So show them what they will sound like by using yourself as the guinea pig if they're not using earbuds, or show them how the video will crack up, will maybe not be as solid a stream if you switch over to Wi-Fi, and then go back to using earbuds or in-ear monitors or Ethernet, and show them that difference. You want them to look their best. You want them to sound their best. Sometimes that's an uphill battle. Next tip, we're getting to the big stuff here. Rehearse. Rehearse, 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 rehearse. Even with all of these things, even with the detailed run of show, all of your assets organized, with all of that stuff, run through yourself and with the people that you're working with, run through the show in real time at least a couple of times so that you and everyone else is really clear on what the steps are. Next, expect your first rehearsal to be a disaster. This is my experience, is that the first rehearsal is going to be a disaster because things are going to come up that no one thought about, and there are going to be corrections to make. And a lot of times you don't know what needs to be fixed until you see it happening in real time. So just expect that. Roll with the punches. There's absolutely no reason to get upset about it. Schedule more than one because the first one is going to be a fail. Next, if you get, you know what? I'm going to back up. Wait a second. I have another one for you, which I forgot to put in here. Figure out how you can communicate with the entire team, whoever is working with you. If there's someone working a soundboard, or if there are other people managing the Zoom maybe, and you're just doing the graphics, whoever the team is, figure out a way to communicate with that team behind the scenes. It doesn't have to be over voice. You could. There are things like Unity Comms, which is a system that you can use through just using your phone or a computer to have a back channel conversation. It could be through private chats. I personally like using Discord. I just set up a channel in Discord. You could do the same kind of thing in Slack, where people can chat away. I recently did a show where there were about 5 different technical people involved, and we all had this Discord chat, and we were able to troubleshoot things as they came up in the background. It was really, really helpful. So make sure that you have a way to back channel converse or chat with your talent, with your other tech team members, with whomever you're working with. And by the way, in Ecamm, which I use, now I have to run through all these again, in Ecamm, which I use, there is actually a private chat just for you and your interview guests. If you bring people on through the interview feature, which I do all the time, there's a back channel chat, which is really, really handy. The last tip I have for you is that if you are getting paid, keep track of your time. I use something called Clockify, which I'm just on the free plan. It's a really nice system where you can start and stop a timer, or you can just put times in, but really keep track of your time and what you're doing during that time. If you're getting paid, if you're getting compensated for this work. It's really important for not only for you, but for your client, for the people that you're working for the synagogue, for the temple, to have a sense of what went into this production, what work went into it, what maybe we could do better next time, where we could shave off some money, where we could save time. All these things are really, really important. And for you as a production person, it's really, really helpful for you as you're planning what your next production work is going to look like, or what the next your next activity is going to be, helping you to manage your time by having a record of, again, what you did, when you did it, how long it took, and as many details as you can include in that. So I use Clockify. There are lots of other time trackers out there, but I want to encourage you to think about that as well. So a detailed run of show, a system for easily managing assets, media assets, videos, audio, images, things like that. Either create your own graphics or give very detailed instructions on what kind of graphics you need, what format, what size. Give advice, but ultimately your job is to help your community, your synagogue, your rabbi, your cantor, your educator, whoever it is, to produce what they want. So give advice, but ultimately give them what they want. Insist on some basics. Insist that everyone be plugged into Ethernet. Insist that your talent, the people who are presenting, teaching, leading, are wearing earbuds if they're able to. Rehearse, and expect that first rehearsal to be a disaster. Have back channel ways to communicate with your talent, with the other people on your tech team, so you can troubleshoot in real time. And finally, if you're getting paid, keep track of it. Even if you're not getting paid, keep track of your work so you can optimize your workflow and get the most done for the bang, get the biggest bang for the buck, I guess is what I was trying to say. So friends, those are my lessons from the front lines on doing remote production work. I've actually really, really enjoyed it. It is exhausting. It's a lot of work, but I've really, really enjoyed it. Hey, here's something else that I really, really enjoy. I really, really enjoy talking to people who are smarter than I am. And check this out. On Monday, it's the first episode of The Future is Starting Now. And this week, I cannot be more excited. I have Dr. Ron Wolfson on the program. We're going to talk about some of the big questions, some of the really big things that the Jewish community and the world is facing now. Not, should I have tuna fish or egg salad at Kiddush, but the big stuff. I hope that you'll join us. We cannot wait for the future to come because it's starting now. Please, please, please join us. That's going to be Monday at 5 on TorahTechGuy.tv. Hey, while you're checking out some of my other shows, I want to invite you to visit my website, TorahTechGuy.com. I have lots of wonderful resources there. That's also where you can get help. You can sign up for a short schmooze, no cost at all. I'm happy to help you out. If you're interested in training, I have a training coming up in New Jersey. I just did one for Massachusetts. I'm happy to participate and offer that to your community as well. That's all I got for you, folks. Remember that fourth E from last week, know when to end. It's time to end. That's all I got for you. Have a fantastic day. Tomorrow, join me for How To. We're going to look at teleprompters. See you later.